I've only been up since 3 this morning.
All right, thank you for joining us, everybody. Start with an opening statement from Coach Brennan, and then we'll take questions. Coach?
All right, thanks for everybody for being here. Obviously, this is an exciting day for Arizona football. I think, there's the success of this recruiting effort really speaks to the momentum with our football program right now. There's been so many people that, put an incredible amount of effort into putting this class together. But obviously, Geiska Crowley and Fletcher Kelly, Kamali Akina, so many people, just the logistics of recruiting that many people, hotels, restaurants, travel, I can't even explain to you what an undertaking it is. And I'm not complaining, it's just it's just doing business. But we wouldn't be in the situation we're in today without an incredible effort from everybody in our recruiting department and also an incredible effort from our coaching staff, just the consistency of phone calls, text messages, FaceTimes, guys, coming to games unofficially and just managing all that. So I'm really grateful to everybody that has put an incredible effort into this recruiting class. We feel great about it. We signed 19 high school players, 1 junior college player, lots of different positions, lots of different kind of from all over the place, and we feel great about that. I think a couple things that I'm excited about, just like kind of the 247 stuff. Just this is the highest ranked average per player in the history of Arizona football, which I think is a big deal. I think that's a big deal. And so we all know that we got a lot of work to do this month. We've got a bowl game to play in that we're excited about. We got practice for that coming. We're excited to figure out where that's going to be and who we're going to be getting ready to play. And then on top of that, we got to get ready for portal and retention. And so we got a lot of work to do. It's about to be the busiest 2 months in the history of our lives, which sounds just insane coming off the end of a season. But shoot, man, we are excited about where we're at right now, and we can't wait to get going on what's next. So I'm ready for your questions.
Thank you, Coach. Justin and then Mike.
Considering the bowl game, obviously you don't know when that's going to be, but could you guys add some early enrollees to the practices when you guys are preparing for the bowl?
So right now we're thinking we're not going to do that just because logistically of when they get out of school and how much actual practice time would they get. I would think, if we were preparing to play in the playoff, that's something different where you have an extra 3 weeks plus of practice. But because of when kids get out of school, the turnaround over the holidays with everything from high school graduation, transcripts, like the process of that, the value or the juice not being worth the squeeze on 3 or 4 days worth of practice.
Michael and then Jason.
I believe this is the first time that you could talk about revenue sharing with recruits. Like you knew exactly how much money that was. It was official, signed off on, etc. So that being the case, how did that shape conversations, the process? Did it have any impact whatsoever? Did it make things different?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it absolutely has an impact in every single conversation you have. Till last night late with multiple kids. It doesn't, that's always part of the conversation. 100% of the time.
Do you view it as a positive development overall, that this is now part of the equation?
I think it's both. I think it's positive. I think it's positive because now it's like just much more open discussion. It's I think the challenging part is just the disparity in it. What one's, oh well, this is the offer from this school, and you're like, well, we don't think you're that, or we think you're this, or so it's just this ongoing back and forth. You never know who's telling the truth except for us. So you're right. So there's a bunch of complicated stuff to that. But I do think our staff has done a great job with the evaluation and kind of the projection and how we think it all fits. And the other piece of it that you have to understand when you're doing it is that you also have a big portion of this roster here that we have to have a good plan to retain. And then we also have to have a plan for how we're going to attack the portal in January. So all those pieces are kind of coming together, and unfortunately, it's not all done at once. It's done in separate points on the calendar.
Jason and David.
You guys didn't have any true decommitments in this class, which in this day and age is pretty rare. What do you attribute that to?
I think we've got a great coaching staff here. I think they're great people. They're great recruiters. I think kids are excited to play for them. I really do. I think we have an awesome institution for kids to go to college at. I think there's a great vibe here on campus. I got out there in the sunshine. It was beautiful. Sun was shining. It was 65 degrees. I was in a t-shirt and shorts walking around campus. I was like, why would you not want to go to school here? It's December. You know, half the country is in puffy jackets and beanies. And we're walking around in flip-flops and board shorts. I mean, let's go.
David and then Justin.
Brent, the mantra in the National Football League has always been build through the draft, supplement in free agency. When you look at your roster, though, this year, a majority of the major players have been guys out of the portal. Do you think this is a program where that mindset will be flipped, where you're going to be building more through the portal and supplementing through high school? Or do you still think high school is the major route for you?
You know, a year ago, we took 24 high school kids. Like we're still going to be developmental. So what you just mentioned about the National Football League, that would be the way we would prefer to build it. We had a little bit more urgency last year just because we had massive turnover with the merging of the two staffs and the departures and the multiple portals. Like, you know, Arizona football, when a coach leaves, had to deal with kind of more transition than other programs do, right, last year. Right? There's only, you know, if you lose a head coach, there's another portal, then you have the spring ball portal, and then, right, all that stuff. So, you know, for us, I think, as we look at it, we would love to, because I think there's more, I think you have a better chance to develop the chemistry and the connection that you need to build championship football programs if you can do it with players that have been in your program for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and then supplementally adding players that can be impactful when you have a need.
Justin and then Michael.
I believe half of the guys you signed today are linemen, both offensive and defensive linemen. What do you think about just both sides of the ball and just the size that you guys added?
We are trying to add some girth to this football team, okay? We know, like I say that all the time, it's not sexy because I do feel great about the skill players that we added, but like you went up front, and I think that played out for us this year in terms of what our D-line was able to do and what our offensive line became. And so that's just always, number one order of business for us is doing everything we can to make sure we have great people in the offensive and defensive line.
Michael and then Jason.
What can you tell us about Oscar Rios and RJ Mosley?
Where do you want me to start? Look, I'll start with Oscar. When you guys meet him, you will not believe the energy this young man has. He has this smile that lights up the room. He's got this contagious personality. I can't wait for him to be here. And he was one of those players that from the first time we met him, you could tell he just had juice. Like, he had crazy juice. He had juice with the guys on our team. The guys on our team liked him. It wasn't just our coaching staff, you know what I mean? He had a great way about him. Obviously, he's a great player with really, really big upside. Just great family. Comes from just a family of, just incredible people. And so just so excited about Oscar choosing the University of Arizona. And I think that speaks to just how much he believed in Coach Daggy and how important Coach Daggy was in his recruitment. But it was a team effort with Oscar. I mean, everybody was on the phone with him all the time. He's got this big smile. My wife and I talked to him last night. He was all fired up for signing day. It was just really a lot of fun. And then, and also I got to tell you. So now I can tell you the story. So Coach Daggy and I went to watch him play. Okay, and they're playing Inglewood High School, and it's back and forth, and they're down 20 with 6 minutes to go in the fourth. And all of a sudden, he starts ripping passes, and they score 2 kind of quickly, and then they have this long methodical drive. They get a stop, have this long methodical drive going down, and the clock's winding down. And then with very little time left, he gets flushed out of the pocket, and he rips this big deep ball, and it looks like it's going to be picked. And one of the players on his team jumps and grabs it, snatches it, and scores. And so now the game is tied. It's 20-all. And they go so crazy, they get a celebration penalty, and they have to back it up and kick this PAT. It's high school, though, so you don't know how good the kickers are, right? But the guy made it, and they won. But it was amazing because Daggy and I were there to see this incredible moment of high school football. We did. I don't think I can talk about him, though, because he's an underclassman. Yeah, no, so, but we may have. And then RJ Mosley, I'm excited about RJ because I've seen this kid for a while because I saw him score 2 touchdowns against my son last year, Pittsburgh versus Los Gatos High School. He was so impressive. Just this really long body that has track times and moves. He doesn't move like a 6'3" guy. He's sudden in his movement, acceleration. He's dangerous with the ball in his hands after the catch. And he's just a really, really smart kid, really great personality, big smile. He's got a big game this week, so that's exciting for him. He's still playing. But it's just, I think, both these people that we're talking about are going to be great players here and guys that our fans are going to want to come watch play in Arizona Stadium or Casino del Sol Stadium.
Jason and then David.
What was it like recruiting another Fafita, and what type of players they?
Well, you guys have heard me talk ad nauseum about how highly I think of Noah, but I think Dash deserves his own credit, right? This young man was the co-defensive player of the year in the Trinity League. Right? It's arguably the best high school football league in the country. You know what I mean? Like that, like he needs to get his flowers for that, because that is big time. Tough, physical. Every time you watch him play, he's just all over the football field. Like he is so productive, so tough, so fun to watch. And then you know that you're getting this incredible foundation, this incredible character, because you know the family so well. You know Les and Winona, and you know how they raise their kids, and you know how they've raised them to be incredible leaders and hard workers and respectful. And, so like, I'm so excited that Dash is coming. We all are.
David and then Justin.
You obviously signed one junior college player, Coach Kevin Moore. What can you just tell us about this young man on the defensive line?
Well, again, we talked about, how do we make sure that we stay really good in the defensive front, offensive front, right? That's a big focus of this recruiting class. And with Kevin, that was one of those ones where we felt like we got so much out of a couple of guys that came and were kind of one-year guys last year, right? And so knowing that we were going to have to replace really high-level production in the defensive line, he was a huge gift for us. And what you saw him do at Hutch was just really impressive. Just get in the backfield, get after the quarterback, play with the physicality and the edge that we really like. And knowing Coach Salavea and what an outstanding football coach he is, his history of developing great players, I think there was instant trust there, instant rapport. And I thought Coach Palmer did a really good job because he was part of his recruitment process also.
Justin and then Michael.
How many guys are you expected to join your team in the spring?
Like from this class, or are you talking about portal?
From this class.
Oh, 12.
12.
Yeah. I was like, dude, I can't predict the future. Come on, man.
And some of these guys were elevated to 4-star status after they committed to you guys. What does it say about just the job that Geiska and the scouting department have done finding these kind of guys?
That's a great point. Like, I think those guys did a great job in the evaluation, and then all of our coaches hitting the road. It's so interesting, right? Because, back in the day, I would be on the road all the time, as an assistant coach, but now it's very, very limited, especially with the new rules, with the month of December being a dead period and all these players signing in the first week of December. It's so different, you know what I mean? Just so I think our coaches, so the initial evaluation happens with, Geiska and Fletch and that crew, and then staff watch the film, position coach, coordinator, me, whatever, and then people go out and watch them in person, right? We want to see how they practice, how they work, are they coachable, are they a good teammate, the stuff that's hard to see on the film. Right, we're trying to build the whole picture, and I thought our staff did a fantastic job of that.
Michael.
The last class here that was comparable to this one was 2022, and they recruited that class in the midst of, I think, a 1-11 season. You're coming off the 4-8 season. Did you feel like you were fighting an uphill battle at all, or were you able to pitch like, hey, playing time, opportunity, building something from the ground up?
I've said this before. I think recruits choose people. And I think we have incredible people in this building. Our coaching staff, our support staff, the alignment we have with the administration, the University of Arizona, I think those things are what people choose. They believe in being coached by Bobby Wade or by being coached by Danny Gonzalez or whoever it is, you know what I mean? So I think that part of it is what was the most compelling for these young people to choose the U of A.
We'll finish up with Brian and then Justin.
Well, now that you have this class put together, but you have the conversations that you still have to have about the existing players and all that, when having those conversations, if somebody says they intend on going into the portal here next month, what's their status with the team as far as like the bowl and all that, if they say they plan on leaving after the season? Or is it, once they've told you that that would be over?
No, those guys are part of the 2025 team. You know what I mean? And so I want them to be with us. You know what I mean? But I don't know exactly, because those conversations haven't started yet. You know what I mean? So I don't know what that's going to look like. A player might say, I don't want to do that, or I do, either way. But obviously, if players are making a business decision that way, then we have to also, in terms of how we rep them and how we get our team ready to play. Because once we get done with today, everything is going to be 100% focused on winning our 10th game. That's all that's going to matter in this building. No one's going to be talking about anything else. How do we win our 10th game?
We'll finish with Justin.
What was your perspective of how Joe Salavea and your staff went about recruiting Keatron Harris and Prince Williams, and what do you think about those two guys as prospects?
No, shoot, both those guys are big-time players, and I think the good part about them is that they were identified early as guys that we wanted to be a part of our program, and that was a relentless, nonstop, and that's an amazing thing about Coach Salavea, is that he has no off button. Like, he just 100% of the time, he is about recruiting, and it's been great because, I really believe in lots of ways he's pushed all of us that way because he has no off switch, and so it's very, very common for me to get 18 text messages, while I'm on my 5 a.m. run, and they're all from Salavea, and they're going out to recruits all over the country, But that part of it is, I think, if we're going to continue to sign the big-time football players and the people that we think can really impact our program the way we want, we're going to have to continue to be relentless in our efforts in recruiting. And I think we're in a great spot right now. Like you've heard me talk about Geiska Crowley and the job he does as our GM, and Fletcher Kelly in just the identification and the process in the building. But then it's an all-out effort, and it doesn't stop. You know what I mean? That's not the clock has been on, but it's already on 27 and 28 kids. You know what I mean? It never stops.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bear down.